So, I was arrested for fraud. I was arrested for fraud. This is a story of how this gentle, beautiful, unassuming young lady that is gracing your screen today was arrested for defrauding a group of people. So, this happened a few years back in 2015. I don't even know why I'm smiling, but actually, this is a story I've not really shared to a lot of people. I've shared it to quite a few persons, maybe a few friends around. I've not had reason to share this story in public, not because of anything, but maybe because I don't have the platform. I have not been given the platform to share it. But then, this is a story of how I I was accused for fraud, arrested for fraud, and how I got out from it. So I don't know how long this is going to last. If it takes too long, I am going to split it into two. But then, if it doesn't, I'll try as much as possible to not make the video too long. So this I am an extremely introverted person, not extremely though, but I am actually so much given to my space and to my personal time. I don't know if I've said it a lot on this channel, but I am not that much of a people's person, if that makes sense. So I love to always be by myself, spend my time by myself and all that. So I entered the university, and I entered the university as a pretty small girl. I think I was somewhere around 16 plus 17 when I got into the university. So I was a kid, and then not just that I was a kid, because of the kind of environment I spent bulk of my childhood in. So I was more like inexperienced. I wasn't street smart, you get. So I entered the university and made quite a few friends, because I really don't like a lot of people into my space and all that. So now, this is the backdrop of the story. So when I was in school, I noticed, that was in my year one, year two, I noticed this particular lady that was always trekking to school and from school. So after lectures, she would wait for other students to go home, then she would trek. And because my hostel was opposite the school gate, so I always noticed her, if that makes sense. So she always trekked, and I had quite some spare cash to just, not that I had a lot, I just had a few, but I believed in giving out to people. I believed in giving out to friends that needed it. So I decided to get the girl engaged. I called her one day, and then I told her that I had noticed that she was always trekking home from school and all that. That what's up? So she told me she wasn't always having money for transport, and even if she did, she had other needs she needed to sort out and not to pay for transport, so she would rather walk it. So I now told her, okay, that I'll be giving her 500 every week, I think. Yes, for transport. And the funny part was that then transportation was 30 naira. It was 30 naira from Isheke, and where I schooled in a boys state university, by the way. So it was 30 naira from where she was staying, and then 30 naira back. So 60 naira every day, and then the 500 naira could cover for it. So that was how we became friends. I started helping out that way, and over time we became friends. She started visiting my house. We got talking and all that. So this particular day, it was after school, and you know how students just finish lectures. Okay, let's just stop by at this person's house and all that. So we went for that kind of stopover. I went to stopover at her hostel, and it wasn't like anything, but we stopped by. let me not give too much details. I wanted to say something, but I stopped by at her hostel just to make sure that this video doesn't get super too long. So I stopped by at her hostel, and she brought what she had. We ate, we just chilled a bit, we were having conversations and all that. And shortly after that, she got a call from a guy. And this guy, she was just telling me that the guy had promised to marry her and all that. So I was still in the process of asking her, how well do you know this guy? Who is he? Where is he from? What is his upbringing and all that? And of which she claimed she did not have so much details about the guy. So the guy called her on the phone and said, oh, I wanted to send you some money, that that she sent her account details or something. So she sent the account. I don't know. She sent the account number. I really don't probe into people's affairs like that. So she sent the account number. And shortly after, the guy called back and said, oh, it's not working. Do you have another account number? She did send her second account number. And then after a while, the guy called back again. It's not working. The transfer is not working. That do you have a GTB account? And at the time, I was using a GTB account. I was using GT Bank. So she now said, oh yes, my friend has a GT account. Let me ask her if she doesn't mind me using her account to get the money and all that. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So she told me, and it's cool. It's not just to send money. So the guy sent money. He sent about 7.5 million naira to the account. And, he called and said that we should withdraw 150, book a hotel for him, and, and all that. So I really wasn't so into the gist. I really wasn't so much at peace with the guy, but the money was in my account. I couldn't have given her my card. So I went with her to town, and then there were no banks in Isheke. So I went with her to town, and of course POS wasn't a rampant thing at the time. So we went to town, used the ATM machine, and I withdrew 150 and gave her. So she made the transfer. Okay, she held the money. I followed her to the hotel where she wanted to book for the guy. So she made the hotel reservations and I left. So the next day, the guy claimed that he traveled to Ghana and that he wasn't going to be back for a while. So he was away for a month and got back and sent in another money into my account. Meanwhile, the next day, went and cleared off the money from my account. I sent it to her own bank and all that. So now, a month after, he sent another 7.5 million naira into the account, into my account. And after that, we still went. I transferred the money back to her account. So, and that was all for that transaction. So I remember I needed to travel to Lagos for an event. I needed to go for a conference in 2015. This happened in 2015. So I needed to go for a conference in Lagos from school. So the day I was to go, a day before the day I was to go, we had the rag day. And then, once in a while, you just want to follow others and have fun. Not because of anything, not because there is any special thing that is going to happen. So I went for that rag day. For the life of it, I don't have any picture to show that I went for a rag day because I can't remember if I really did. I think we took a couple of pictures in the department before we left, but then I can't find them. I've lost them. I didn't put them on Facebook. I would have gotten it from social media, but then I didn't put it up on any social media platform. So we went on that rag day and, we got quite a few amount of money. I think I got about 10,000 or more. So I came back and I was to travel the next day. So I got a friend that was going to Lagos too the next day, and then I decided to attach myself to him. So because I hadn't been to Lagos for the first time, that was my first time to be in Lagos. And we've heard a lot of stories about Lagos and how they do welcome to Lagos to people and all that. So I didn't want to take chances. And it was good that my friend, shout out to Caleb, was going to Lagos. So that morning, I needed to use the ATM and withdraw the money for my transport and all that. So got to the ATM, and for some weird reasons my card was declining. So I really didn't think about it much, because I had about 10 I had about 10,000 naira on me that I had gotten the previous day from the rag day. So then the transportation to Lagos, I paid 2,800 naira from Abakaliki. I remember details, shall. So I went to Lagos, and when I finished what I went to do there, I had to contact a friend, and he took me to GT Bank. And then they were saying that there is some sort of e-fraud restriction on my account, an e-fraud restriction. I think that was the name they called it on my account. And then, but I should call their e-fraud unit. So I used the landline in the bank and called, and we had a conversation, and they asked me to do a few things that I think it was an on phone demand command, something like that. So which I did, and there was really nothing much that came out, because the next day I told my friend, we're going back to this bank, and I'm not going to go and complain about being unable to withdraw. And I'm just going to try to withdraw from the counter. And then I went to the counter and filled in a withdrawal slip, and I got the money I needed for my trip back. And so yeah, so I got back to Enugu, and that was in 2015, just that week that there was supposed to be an election. So hold on a bit, let me drink water. So I got back to the east, and this random day after the whole thing, I settled. So I remember again trying to go to the bank in Abakaliki to run a transaction, and I couldn't. And I waited for a while. For some weird reasons, the transaction didn't go through. So I went home. So we were on holiday. Now, along the line, this my friend that had used my account to collect money lost her father. So it was during the holidays that the father's burial was fixed. So it was during the holiday that I was supposed to know her village for the first time. I hadn't been to her village before then. So I got home to Enugu. I was on holidays, and then this random day I just wanted to go to the market or to the mall to just buy a few things. I was just in the mood to shop for a few things for myself, not a lot. So I dressed up. There was really nothing much going on at home, and I was the only of my sibling that was in the house. So I was a bit bored. So my daddy left for Lagos that morning. My mom went to work, and then I went to the bank. I went to the GT Bank headquarters in Enugu. So I got there, and I filled in a withdrawal slip since my ATM wouldn't pay me. So I filled in a withdrawal slip, and for some weird reasons, those guys kept me standing. I waited and waited and waited, and the guy I met just kept telling me, okay madam, please hold on a bit, we have to rectify something with your account and all that. And I wasn't troubled. All I know is that I just needed money, and I needed to clear out the issue I had with my bank, because that was the only bank I was using. I was a student. I didn't have plenty money to be opening different bank accounts up and down. So they kept asking me to wait around and all that. So I just stood there and I was waiting. And then after some time, I figured that the guy that had been telling me to wait around spoke to a particular security guy and told the security guy some things. And then after the conversation he had with the bank security guy, the guy was now looking at me like he had his eyes on me for a very long time. So he kept looking at me, and I was standing at a place. So I started getting some very funny sensations. Are you sure this guy isn't monitoring me? Is there any problem and all that? So meanwhile, I was at the upstairs of the bank. The bank had the lower part and then the upper part. So I was upstairs. So after some time, I now said, okay, that I need to be sure that this security guy is not stalking me. So I moved. I wanted to go downstairs. Like I wanted to ease myself, not like leave the bank because I wasn't done with what I came to do. Now, I didn't say that I had waited for about 3 hours. So I moved. As I was approaching the stairs, the guy quickly rushed me, the security guy, and said, "Oh, madam, where are you going to?" And I'm like, "How do you ask a customer that question? I didn't come here with you, so I still have freedom of movement, don't I?" And I told him, "Anyway, by the way, where is the restroom? I need to use the toilet." And so he said, "Okay, that is downstairs." He directed me. So I came down and entered the loo. And after I was done easing myself, I came out and the guy was standing in front of the door. And I'm like, "Are you stalking me, sir? Is there any problem? If there is a problem, you tell me and not stalk me around." The guy now said, "Oh, madam, I'm doing my job." I said, "Okay, no problem. We're going to see the end of this." So I went back upstairs. And after a very long while, the guy that had been asking me to wait, okay, no, I went back upstairs, and after a long while, another banker approached me and said, "You've been standing here for quite a very long while," because it was over 4 hours. "You've been standing for a very long time. Is there any problem? Okay, come." And I told him that I don't know. So he said, "Okay, just come, follow me." So I followed him into his office and he said, "Just give me your account details. Let me check if there is a problem with your account." And I gave him my account number and what else I gave him. Yeah, I think I gave him my account number and the account name. And so after a while, he now said, "Oh, the problem is that you have an e-fraud restriction on your account, and it is a very serious restriction." And I'm like, "Okay, so what is the cause for the restriction? Why are you restricting an account that doesn't even have money in hundreds of thousands stocked up in it? How much did I even have in the account, by the way?" And I said, "Okay, no problem. So what am I supposed to do? What is the solution?" The guy now told me, I think he was about to talk. He was about to say something. And then the guy that had been asking me to wait around now came into the office with some guys dressed in suits. And then he now said, "Oh yeah, that's the lady. You can go with her." And I'm like, "That's the lady that did what exactly? Why are you coming at me?" And I said, "Who are they? Where are they going with me? If I have a problem with my account, you as my account officer should be able to inform me and not handing me over to some strangers that I don't know." So the guy now said, "Oh, they are going to explain everything to you and all that." In Nigeria, we just have a very whack system. Even if it was fraudulent and you have I'm coming, let me not jump the cart. Let me not put the cart before the horse. So I now turned to them, and one of them brought out an ID and said, "Oh, we are bankers from Union Bank." Okay, why exactly are you coming from Union Bank? I don't have an account in Union Bank. I've never had any bank transaction. As at this time, I was 18, like barely 18. I'm not sure I was more than 18. Now I said, "Okay, why are you coming from Union Bank?" So he now said, "Okay, just follow me. There is a problem with your account. A money was stolen from one of our customers and the transaction was traced to your account." I'm like, "Stolen what? Stolen? With what? What did we use to steal the money? Gone? Or what? What? Stolen? Do I look like I steal?" And that day I dressed properly. Like I wore one expensive gown my mom had gotten for me and one shoe. I was wearing a high heel. And then I think I packed my hair like this. Yeah, this was how I had my hair. So okay, so and I said, "Okay, no problem, stolen." And then at one of the times the guy sent the money, he had called me on the phone to ask me if I think the second time he sent the money, he called me on the phone to ask me if I had gotten the alert. And for some weird reasons, I stored his number on my phone. Maybe because he was my friend's to-be husband or something, but I just saved his number on my phone. So we got downstairs and eventually the security guy opened the door and let us out. And I got out and I met police vans with police men in their numbers. I'm not talking about van of 2 or 3. I'm talking about van of over 10 in number, loaded with police people. I didn't know that Enugu State had that amount of police people. I didn't know. So they were loaded with guns ready to shoot. Maybe they were looking for Osama bin Laden or what. I don't know. I don't know what they were looking for. So I came out and these vans were so many, and I had about 4 guys in suits that came from Union Bank that were already walking behind me. You know, I felt confused. I didn't understand what was going on. Why are all these people here? What is the problem? So, but I came out, you know, they ushered me into a Corolla, a black Corolla. I remember a black Corolla. I entered, you know, so one of the guys in suit entered from the other door. You know, I entered and then the other guy entered and one police guy entered the front of the car. You know, so I was in between the 2 men in case I wanted to run away, you know, to escape, to use magical powers to escape them, you know. So, you know, long story short, we got to Union Bank, the state headquarters of Union Bank in Enugu State. So we got to Union Bank and, you know, I came out from the car. We went in to meet the branch manager. And, you know, the man now explained the whole thing. The man, it's an elderly man. So the man was more like a father. You know, he sat down and explained it out and asked me, okay, what do I know about this? And I told him this. Honestly, this was what happened. My friend from school asked for my account number. I gave her boyfriend or whatever sent in money to my account. The next day we went to the bank, we cleared it off. I sent it to her account and I said, you can also track the movement of that money from my account to this lady's account. So the man now said, so what are we going to do? And I said, okay, I have the number of this man that sent this money, in case you want to call him and confirm if he actually sent a particular amount of money to me. And the man said, oh, good. Can you call the man on the phone? And I said, yes, but I don't have airtime. So the man said, okay, that's not a problem. So he called one security guy, gave the guy money and asked the guy to go get recharge card for me. And that was Airtel. I don't remember. I don't forget. The guy bought Airtel 500 naira for me. You know, I recharged my phone. And so on a second thought, the man said no, that he would call the man himself. So I now gave him the man's number. And guess what? He called the man and said, hello, are you so person? The man said, yes. Said, okay, did you send so amount of money on so days to so bearer? The man said, yes. Any problem? He said, please, can we know the account you sent the money from? He said, oh, that's my sister's account. I sent it from my sister's account. Is there any problem? And the man says, no. The bank manager said, no problem, and ended the call. And I'm like, Oga, why are you saying there's no problem? You people came to accost me from my bank to your bank in police vans, and you have eventually spoken to this person, and this person confirmed that he did this transaction, and you are saying there is no problem. I don't understand the there is no problem part exactly. You need to explain it to me so that I will get it, because maybe I am not getting it at this point. So the man tried to call, the manager now tried to call back this man, and the number was off and never came on. Like, that phone went off that day and never came on. So I now told the man, okay, well, I still know my friend that they sent the money to. I can still produce the girl for you. But the problem is that we are on vacation. We're on school holiday. So you would have to wait until school resumes for me to talk to this girl and bring her to you. And the man was like, okay, no problem, okay, you can go. I was sincerely and honestly about standing up to leave the bank when someone they called the chief security officer for the zone or something for the bank, one security head, came and now said, if you let this girl go, are you going to pay the money? This is the person we are seeing. Let us hold her down first. And I'm like, shoot me. I didn't steal your money. Someone else had confirmed he made this transaction. And why exactly are you coming at me? Like, I'm not your problem. And the man said, okay, we're going to like hand you over to the police, you know. I thought it was a joke. By that time, no, the reality of what was happening hadn't dawned on me yet. We came out, entered the car, and we went to State CID in Enugu. We went to State CID, people. We got to the State CID. I got out of the car, and you know, with the help of the other guys, you know, that brought me from the bank, we entered the DPO's office now. Yeah, we got into the DPO's office, and everything happened within split seconds. I won't even lie. Everything happened in split seconds. For the first time in my life, I received a mental drainage. Like, my mentality drained to the lowest or to the barest minimum. So we got in and they said, oh, we brought this person from the bank for fraud. That was how they termed it. Oh, this person came from the bank for fraud. The DPO was like, oh, fraud? No problem. He brought out detention form, stamped it, bah, this, that. Hey, her, oh yeah, detain her. That's how people die in Nigeria. I won't even lie. That is how people die in this country. And that was how I was detained. The next thing, they came and dragged me like a common criminal to the counter. Behind the counter, you know, they collected my earrings. They asked me to remove my earrings. I took it off. They asked me to take out the band I had on my hair, because I think I had this metallic hairband, something like this, that I used to hold my hair in place. Yeah, something like this. So they asked me to remove it, and what else? Took out my shoes. Oh man, it wasn't funny. They took out my shoes, my hair holder, my wristwatch, you know, my jewelries in general. And I'm not sure I had glasses on that day. Maybe they would have taken it too. So they took off all those things and detained me. And you know, while I sat down there behind the counter now, so I was still having my phone. So I brought out my phone to call my mom, because I remember that my mom didn't even know I left the house. Like, honestly, she went to work before I did leave the house, so she couldn't give an account of where I went to. So I needed to put a call across to her to tell her, okay, this is what is happening, that everything has gone south. So well, as I brought out the phone, was trying to dial my mom's number, one police guy came from somewhere and gave me this heavy slap. Like a heavy slap. Do you think we are joking with you? You don't know where you are? How dare you use a phone? Don't you know that you're important? Can't you see what is written here? And for the first time, I turned back and I saw that they actually wrote no phone calls allowed. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? Now, the time that day was around to 4. This was honestly around to 4 p.m. And now this was a journey that started in the morning. So I was tired. So, you know, after some time, one other senior officer came, called me and asked me to make a statement, and I wrote down all that had happened. You know, after I wrote it down, honestly, don't enter police problem in Nigeria if you do. So I had written that down and all that. So I came out back to the behind the counter now. So one of the guys that brought me from the bank now asked me to come closer, that he needed to speak to me. So I went to him and I asked him, please, can you help me call my mom? I don't want you to call my daddy because my daddy left for Lagos that day and he was going for something important, so I didn't want to bother him or something. Or can you help me reach out to my mom and tell her that I am in the police custody? So he said okay. So I gave him my mom's number, I gave him my brother's number, and I gave him one of my uncle's number, one of my mentors. He died 2 months ago, so I gave him my mentor's number, and that was it. And the guy went back to the bank and didn't call my mom until about 6 p.m. This was like almost 2 hours after I gave him the number. So he called her and she started coming to the bank, started coming to the police station. And she got to the police station really late because she had to in fact, he didn't call my mentor. It was my mom that had to call my mentor. We'll see what is going on. Can we go? And they came together to the police station. And by that time, I was looking like a common criminal. Like, fam. I was looking tired, tattered, weak, angry. Like I regretted ever even going to that bank that day. Everything was just looking messy to me. It was a lot. The guy, my mom tried to talk to them and they said, oh, the DPO had closed for the day, so there is nothing that can be done and it is a fraud case, so there is really nothing we can do for you. She can't be bailed, she has to be jailed. I went to my mom came out and she was bothered there, and I hadn't eaten that day, so I was very hungry. No, I wasn't very hungry. I had an empty stomach. I was tired already, but I couldn't eat anything because that situation had closed up my tummy. I couldn't eat. So to be honest, everything went south. My mom couldn't really do anything. So she went and asked me what she should buy for me. I just asked her to get water because I could live on water. I just told her to get me a bag of water and then maybe just something in case I get hungry, something I could eat. And so she went and bought biscuits for me, one big pack of biscuits, because I actually asked her to get biscuits instead of food. So that night I was thrown into the cell. Oh God. That place was cold, it was lonely, it was terrible. I don't know, there was this draining effect that place gave me. And I was looking at myself and I'm like, are you the one here? Did these people just treat you like a common criminal? Like, I couldn't explain it. To be honest with you, I was done that day. There was no foam care. I laid on the floor. Like, it was so cold. It was cold. Like, and they went home, contacted our family lawyer, magistrate Odum at the time. She came the next day